Good afternoon and greetings from Jerusalem. Jane coming to you here from my little home in Jerusalem, up close and personal. I want to give you this little current news updates. The United Nations Security Council came together the other day. They had finally seen the light. They came together and they said, wow, boy, have we been wrong all of those years condemning Israel. Wow, we actually tried to open a history book. And for those of you in the United Nations who are Christian, we actually opened the Bible. And then we start reading about those thousands and thousands of years of Jewish connection to this land. Wow, boy, were we wrong when we were talking about occupation. Israel can't occupy Israel. The Jewish people can't occupy Israel. They own this land. This is their land, never to be uprooted again. Wow, we were wrong. I'm sorry. They were saying, wow, we need to come out against what's going on the Temple Mount. This is where the first and the second temple stood. The Jewish people had thousands of connections to the Temple Mount. This is where they went up to the holiest of the holiest. This is where they worshipped. And that first and second temple were brutally destroyed by foreign armies. And now the Jewish people are not even allowed to go on the Temple Mount and pray. We need to rectify this. We need to come out and condemn the Arabs when they turn the Temple Mount into a war zone, barricading themselves in the mosque, taking up the floors and attacking the visitors on the Temple Mount, where, by the way, I was one of them one year. They are attacking the visitors on the Temple Mount. They are attacking the police. They're turning it into a war zone. Nothing is holy for them. They play football up there. They're barbecuing up there. Oh boy, the United Nations Security Council. Boy, were we wrong coming against Israel. Is that why they came together the other day? Did they come together to say, wow, Israel really is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel has election upon election. You know what? They have an elected government right now, chosen by the people. We need to respect that. And we need to condemn the Abu Mazen because he's the leader of the Palestinians. But he hasn't had an election in 19 years. He was elected for 4. You know, in their charter, it says you can only sit for 2 terms, which means 8 years after another election. And now he's been the leader for 19 years, blatantly disregarding his own people, trampling all over them, stealing their money, not allowing elections for the Palestinians. Is that why the United Nations came together the other day? No. Because how dared a Jew walk on the Temple Mount? How dared a newly elected member of the Israeli parliament, a Knesset member, a minister, how dared he walk slowly, not even praying, but how dare he walked on the Temple Mount of the Holy of the Holiest. That's why the United Nothing came together the other day, again blatantly coming against Israel, another condemnation of Israel. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Israel has a new government, elected by the people. The Prime Minister is Benjamin Netanyahu. And the world is going absolutely bonkers. Why? Calling this government racist, far-right extremist, right-wing religious governments. We don't want to work with them. We are condemning them. I mean, did that happen before they were even sworn in? Anthony Blinken is going to come later this month to tell the new government what they can and cannot do. You see, 6 years ago today, I was at a funeral. Another heinous terror attack. An Arab terrorist in a big truck run over a group of soldiers, and 4 young soldiers were brutally murdered in that terror attack, murdered for no other reason than being Jewish. I have been reporting for Israel, here from Israel, for nearly 10 years. Time and time again, stood in the gap for Israel, crying with the Jewish people when they had to bury a loved one. Grandparents, fathers, mothers, children, time and time again murdered because the lie of Israel, the Jewish people occupying their own country, has been fed into every Arab. And the Arab living in this country, from the day they were born, they're being educated, you need to go and liberate Palestine. Not because we're going to have a two-state solution. So the Jewish people is in one state and the Arabs in another one. No, no. From the river to the sea, Palestine should be free. Which means all of Israel is going to be turned into a Palestinian state. The lies of occupation, the lies of apartheid system. Did you know that Israel has Arab members of the parliament? Did you know that one of the closest aides of former terrorist in a suit, leader of the Palestinians, Yasser Arafat, his name is Ahmed Tibi, has been sitting in the Israeli parliament for years and years, receiving 50,000 shekels a month from the Israeli taxpayers, calling Israeli police officers, Israeli soldiers for terrorists and murderers, which he just happened to do today. There's no occupation. You cannot occupy your own land. There's no apartheid in Israel. We have Israeli members of parliament are Arabs who is coming against Israel every day, calling out from the pulpit of Knesset, calling this an apartheid regime, an occupation, fighting it, waving the PLO terrorist flags in the streets of Israel. And now Israel has a government where they're saying enough is enough. We are not going to continue to transfer tax revenue to the Palestinian authorities when they're using $500 million paying it to terrorists and their families for murder to Jewish people. So Smotrich said enough is enough, and he stopped some of that money, and that is now going to terror victims and their families in Israel instead of paying the terrorists who murdered Jews. Israel is also saying enough is enough with members of Fatah, Abu Mazen's party, traveling in and out of Israel, going to the houses of terrorists, celebrating these terrorists. Enough is enough. That is what's going on here in Israel. But you see, United Nations, the European Union, all of those, they can't get it over their lips condemning when we have these heinous terror attacks here in Israel. They're like, it's physical possible. Only when we had recently a bus bombing and 2 people were murdered because buses were being blown up, then they can come out and say, oh, we condemn. But no, otherwise not. And the failing mainstream media is certainly not reporting about all of these attacks. Shooting, ramming, raping Jewish women, children, in their houses, as we have seen. Terror attacks. People are standing waiting for the bus and they are being run over or stabbed to death in a supermarket, time and time again. You don't hear about these things in your mainstream media. Or Jewish people being stoned every day driving in Judea and Samaria by Arabs. You don't hear about all of these things. But now there's a government coming to power saying enough is enough with all of this. Now they're racist. Give me a break. You see, let me show you this. This is my Bible. Either this book is true, all of it, or nothing is true. It's not a buffet. You cannot pick and choose. So as I end this video, I want to say to the Christians, don't fall for mainstream media. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Listen to all the Christians around the world. Do not begin to listen to the lies or the propaganda coming against Israel or the false mainstream media who's now screaming about racist government here in Israel, or definitely not based your opinion on the failing United Nations and all of their condemnation about Israel. You see, when we stand with Israel, it's not about who's in charge politically. Israel is not a political issue, it's a biblical issue. It doesn't mean, I have said this before, it does not mean you have to agree with everything that the government decides. I don't agree with everything, but I know that this Bible is true. And I know God says, I will bless those that bless Israel, and I will curse those that curse Israel. So for such a time as this, we need to base our opinion on facts, on truth, and that is this book. And it just happens to be the history of Israel. So I really want to encourage you to continue to stand strong with Israel and say, I may not agree with everything going on politically, but that doesn't change this thing. It doesn't change the Bible. It doesn't change the facts that this land belongs to the Jewish people. All of this, that the so-called Palestinian cause is stripping Israel of every single day in their fabrications of truth and of history coming against Israel. So no, it's not some crazy new government down here. They are elected, fair and square, and right now they are just saying, you know what, this is our land, we will protect our people. We are not going to let terrorists have the best conditions in prison and, just have the PLO terrorist flag wavered all over Israel, because when you do that, again, it's coming against Israel as the Jewish homeland. So again, base your facts, open this one and educate yourself. Educate yourself and just say, you know what? God says, I will bless those that bless Israel and curse those that curse Israel. So there you have it, just a little speaking from my heart from Jerusalem Jane, coming to you here from Israel. And I want to encourage you, come down here and learn the facts for yourself. Travel around here, meet the Jewish people, go to Knesset, see for yourself why the current government is doing what they're doing, saying we are not going to let the Palestinians continue to build all over Judea and Samaria, being funded by the European Union. They are illegally taking over so many areas of Judea and Samaria funded by the United Nations. The European Union. Something they don't even hide. So this current government is just saying enough is enough with all of that. That is what they are doing, amongst other things. But come down here and learn for yourself. It will transform your life, I promise you. So God bless Israel for such a time as this. May God bless the Prime Minister and give him wisdom to do what is right for this nation. Come to Israel. I will see you soon. Bye.